Hi, my name is Ron Matheson. I'm a Senior Vice President with WebsiteClosers.com. Today, we're going to do one for the buyers. Now, let's start with comparing the sector. First of all, we've got the perfect storm when it comes to the e-commerce sector. You've got the strength of, number one, you've got an older generation that never spent a lot of money on the inventory, or on the internet, being replaced by a younger generation, which is completely tech savvy and comfortable with buying from the internet. And as years go by, year by year, that replacement will add to more volume from the internet. Then you take into account, first of all, when you look at bricks and mortar, you've got a scenario where I can draw a circle 30 miles around a business. And the likelihood that my buyer is going to come from within that 30-mile radius is probably 95% or greater. That's where your buyer came from. When it comes to the e-commerce sector, I've got 48 states I'm working from. So obviously, I'm going to get a lot more activity from people on an e-commerce company than I am on a bricks and mortar company. Now, let's talk about that. It means that when you see a company you like, be decisive, be aggressive, make an offer, because if you don't, somebody else is going to. It's that simple. Now, there's a lot of factors that come into play. Okay, when it comes to buying a company, we're going to kind of help you to understand a little bit of it. We're going to help you understand maybe obsolescence in inventories or CapEx requirements. Those are things that we can show you as time goes. What we're going to talk about here today in this video is things like value, inventory versus dropship, sector, and location. And let's start with value. Okay, now when it comes to the value of an e-commerce company, you're looking at about 3 times multiple. That number can go up if sales are increasing greatly and various other scenarios, or it can go down based on other scenarios that may be less positive, such as erratic sales or various other things, which we will show you as we go. Now, let's talk about inventory versus dropship. I actually have buyers who call me and say, oh, this is a dropship model. I don't like that, versus the inventory. Well, that's not necessarily the case, because number one, on a dropship model, even though the negatives might be you pay a dropship fee, which hurts your margins, but on the positive side, you also have the fact that it's a pure play on cash flow. When you sell the product, you make the spread. You're not getting stuck with product. Okay, so your margins aren't going to vary based on your efficiency in the inventory you carry. And that's going to make a big difference. Okay, also, when it comes time on the dropship model, you do get additional margin considerations too, such as, by the time you've placed it, then your drop shipper is going to go ahead and it may take him a few days, a week to reship. Then he invoices you at that point. You're also gaining additional cash flows from that, which is a big plus. On the flip side, when you go over to inventory, let's talk about why that's a positive. First of all, you're going to get better margins. You're not paying that dropship fee, plus you've got the opportunity to buy through volume discounts. In other words, they're going to say, hey, if you're willing to buy all this product from us, we're going to give you additional discounts. That's going to drive your margins up. Now, if you look at it also a little bit deeper, you're going to realize that, it's been an ongoing struggle forever in retailers to manage inventory. And there is going to be a certain amount of that inventory that is not going to sell, that is going to sell at cost or below cost, and that's a negative. So, once again, it's not quite as cut and dried as you think. I'm not sure there's an advantage on either side. They both have advantages, they both have disadvantages. But don't rule out one side or the other, because they're both powerful. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is sector. You've got a mainstream solid sector in certain products, and that's a big plus. Shoes, clothing, commoditized products that'll be here, and you can look at it and say, hey, that's going to be selling 20 years from now. And it's exciting to know that you've got the 10-year and the distance to run, that you're going to make money forever on that product. However, understand also that when it comes to mainstream products, you've got a lot more competition out there. So you better be at the top of your game, because other people will be if you're not. On the flip side, you've got, more of a niche faddish product. Okay, now understand with that product, you're not going to have the competition, which means once you've gained organic rankings and recognition through your name and branding, that's a big positive. So that also helps a lot. Now, there could be a certain element of, is this product going to be around forever? And that can hurt as well. So it can go either way on that as well. Now, let's talk about the location. You know, if you notice, take for example Amazon. Now, Amazon right now is opening warehouses everywhere. Essentially, they look at their demographics and they say, hey, where is our products being sold? And then they go open a warehouse as close to those areas as possible that they're driving their volumes from. And that allows them to, you know, maximize their efficiency when it comes to both shipping costs as well as shipping time. So, you know, location can make a difference, and when you do look at a company, you're going to take a look at the same demographics to see where you're selling. And if you happen to be located well, that's a big plus, or if it's an easy to relocate company or an easy to take over companies, you know, those are pluses. Those are things that will excite you more. And those are some of the things that come into play when buying a company. For more information, go to website closers at youtube.com, and thanks for listening.